Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Loggerhead Bloody Bayou, issue number 1. This is apparently a one-shot, and that I find to be a huge mistake. That's mistake number 1 about this comic book, is it's just a one-shot. But this is coming out of Scout Comics. I got this in an advanced preview. It's actually going to come out later in June. I'm looking forward to it. I am going to buy the physical copy when it does actually release, because this is really cool. I believe this is going to be a first appearance for the character. Booyah, I'm totally down for this. I'm going to talk about a whole bunch of things regarding this comic book, and later on in this review, I'm going to give you some spoilers. But for now, I'm just going to tell you about who actually made the book, and then a little bit about the book itself. I'll warn you when the spoilers come up, all right? So let's get started. This is, in fact, a one-shot. Bloody shame. The creator, writer, artist, and colorist is Brian Silverbacks. That's a whole lot of work for one person, but hey. The layouts are by Mark, I'm going to butcher this name, Voikankiat, did the best I could. The letterer, Scout Production, is Joel Rodriguez, and the color flats are by Cheryl Rodriguez. Main cover by Brian Silverbacks, and there's a variant cover by Walter Ostley. I did the best I could. Okay, so anyway, this was Bloody Bayou fantastic. Look, this is a horror comic book, and not even a horror comic book. It's more of just a monster comic book more than anything else. But there's a world here. Look, I'm sure that by now you're looking at the art and you're maybe saying that this isn't the greatest art in the world. But if you're a horror comics fan, you're looking at this and saying, oh yeah, this is par for the course. This is exactly what you expect from a horror comic book. And I'm not the biggest horror aficionado buff that there is out there, but I will say that I've read my fair share of horror comic books, and boom, here you go. I've actually been getting into them more and more as of late. I read this, and I see the art on this, and I'm impressed. This is almost like a Frankenstein-esque story, and let's be realistic. If you're going to make a monster book, a monster story, that is the line of reasoning that you're always going to try and use. Otherwise, you're probably just doing it wrong in some regards. Or you're just going to reinvent the wheel. Good luck doing that. So this is... I don't want to get too much into the comic book right now, or into the story itself right now, but I will say that they don't waste time showing you the character. It's not on the first page. It's not in the 5th page. They don't waste time with trying to hide what the character looks like, because I mean you could see it right on the damn cover. That's what the monster looks like, right? Is it actually a monster? Well, it doesn't do a whole lot of talking, that's for sure. Can it think? Do we know anything about this thing? Kind of reminds me of the cover for the first issue of The Incredible Hulk. Is he man? Is he monster? Is he both? Which was also based on Frankenstein. Imagine that. Based on Solomon Grundy, which was based on Frankenstein. Imagine that. Anyway, also a nursery rhyme. Anyway, this is a comic book where you're going to get into this, you're going to look at this, you're going to recognize right away that it is a monster/horror comic book. The art is right there. Bang, you're going to enjoy this story. Now, let's get into some spoilers. You've been warned. Pause or turn off the video, whatever, right? This book comes out in late June. You could just get all this information on your own. But if you're not convinced enough and you just want the story, and you're not convinced enough that, hey, this is going to be, I believe this is going to be the first appearance of the character, let's see if this will help. It starts off and you're thinking you're just in regular old Louisiana bayou, whatever, and there's this group of excavators or whatever, these mineralists that come in illegally, and they're trying to mine this material that you've never heard of before, this mineral we've never heard of before, because in modern day it doesn't actually exist. So then you come to find out there's a monster hunting people. It's like, oh wow, what a basic storyline. And the monster comes in and eats the people. Hey, duh. So that's what you expect. Then we go over to some kids, where we get some further backstory of what's going on. And these kids, they're mutants. They've got little mutations here and there. Maybe their face looks a little bit funny, whatever, but they're still kids. They don't have superpowers. They can't, go, wow, and shoot laser beams. They're not like Morlocks. They're not like X-Men. They're actual mutates. Yeah, they're not going to give them necessarily superpowers. Come to find out that Loggerhead is one of them. Oh, okay, that makes sense. But he just mutated beyond what anybody else happened. Now, you also come to realize fairly slowly, but with enough speed, that hey, this isn't what you think it is. This is a future, very dystopic world. We've always seen like Mad Max, and like everything in the future is all about the freaking desert. Hey, maybe something happens in the bayou. As far as I'm concerned, Brian Silverbacks could expand this world a whole lot larger. Or he could just simply leave it as is, and we could just imagine that this is in the Mad Max universe, but, you know, in the swamps. I'd be good with it either way. It makes sense. All of it makes sense. And I'm digging on this. But honestly, I would like to see more of this story, of this world. If this is just a one-shot, we're one and done, and we're never going to see Loggerhead again, I think that's a huge mistake for multiple reasons. One of them being that I am positive that this is groundbreaking, perfect enough to be a Netflix series or movie or Hulu or one of those other subscription services. I can 100% see that happening. In fact, if this hasn't already been optioned, I'm shocked. I'd be shocked. I'm pretty sure this is going to be optioned and quickly. Let's get looking into what the log line is for this. This is a mature and bloody sci-fi narrative following the journey of Buford Jr. LaCroix, aka Loggerhead. He was afflicted with a DNA abnormality which gradually led to a shocking change in his appearance. After vanishing for many years, rumors of his powers and mutations grew. Is he real, or just a made-up symbol to protect the people of the bayou? The creator, again, is Brian Silverbacks, and the story, as we're given, is the world as we knew it changed after the last of the great wars, leaving a large portion of North America a dead wasteland. It's in that wasteland that tales of a monster known only as Loggerhead exist. Within this wasteland, valuable elements and minerals have been unearthed, creating a hotbed of illegal mining and overrun with scavengers. With some children finding themselves endangered while witnessing an illegal scavenger hunt, mineral hunt, got too low for me to be able to see it properly with my glasses, a protector rises from the murky depths of the wasteland to exact retribution. Finally, here's a creator quote. I'm really excited to share a Loggerhead with the world. Having a comic book published was something I've always wanted to do. Congratulations. Loggerhead was originally a part of a whole roster of comic book characters I'd designed. His striking appearance stood out to those I shared the work with, and they encouraged me to develop further his story. That's a horrible misprint there. I was happy he found a home with Scout Comics. Yeah, I'll be more happy if we get a Loggerhead regular series, because this is good. Guys, let's just be realistic. When it comes to horror comic books, you don't usually have a big budget for it, right? Now, is this going to do well on a Kickstarter? Maybe. I'm hoping. But I will say that if this gets put into a regular comic book, I'm sure there are more than enough horror and monster comic book aficionados out there who are going to buy into this comic book. And I can almost promise this is going to become something on TV, one of those subscription services. This is really, really good. I am definitely giving this my recommendation. Every single thing about this comic book screams horror comic book, monster comic book, the kind of comic book that, let's face it, we don't get from the Marvels and the DCs. Even when you look at, places like Image and things like that, the idea that Scout was willing to do something like this says that they see the potential of this. They've got merchandise out for this and stuff like that. I don't know that I'm going to be getting any merchandise for this. You know what I'm saying? But I will say that I would like to go and meet Brian Silverbacks. I'd love to give the guy a handshake. I'd love to compliment him on this. I'd love to see what the hell else he's got coming out of this, because this could really go someplace. If he decides to make an entire world of this, I will absolutely follow it, because I see a whole lot of this world where it's post-World War. There's radiation in places. They're scavenging new minerals that have come out, and there's monsters all over the place and mutates all over the place. We have to run away from regular society, those who weren't actually affected. What does the upper class You know, what's going on with the upper class that they've got money to just start sending people in? What are the lives of these scavengers who do get sent in? You know what I'm saying? Do they necessarily deserve to get destroyed as they go in? There's cyborgs in this universe. Is that some of the payment for some of these people, so that, like, do they get parts of their mutations cut off and replaced with cybernetics? I don't know, but damn, I really want to see more of this. If this is just a one shot to pique our interest, consider my interest piqued. This is the kind of comic book that we could use in the comic book world right now, where many of us are starting to feel a stale taste in the back of our mouths when it comes to, you know, some of the later comic books. More and more, let's be realistic. The more you see comic book reviewers, the more you see them starting to gravitate towards the independent comic books, because sometimes rehashing some of the same stories, and not everybody in Marvel and DC does that. All right? You got greats out there. But then you've also got this world of people just coming into comic books who have their own creator-owned stuff that we've never seen before, stuff that gets to be done without the thumbprint of, well, that's not going to be good for our world. Cool. Sometimes you have to make your own world, and I'm happy to check out this one. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me. Definitely consider checking this out. Again, late June is when this book comes out. Grab it. Definitely grab it. And I'm out. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.